Warning, the show may contain some crude humor and mild swearing. Listener discretion is advised. This show is produced by Geek Happy Network, constantly curious about the things we love. If you enjoyed listening to Smörgåsbord, remember to subscribe to the show on Spotify, YouTube, or on your favorite podcast app. Remember to leave a review. We would love to hear your thoughts. This is Smörgåsbord!
Welcome to Smörgåsbord, a show where we explore the rituals, myths, and all things strange about the world of food. I'm Mick. Here's my co-host,
Angel.
Hello.
Hello. I don't know. I'm talking like this.
How many cups of coffee have you had today?
I literally just drank a Rockstar.
Oh,
It's almost 10 p.m. This is how I live my life.
good way to start your day.
It's
Night.
a judgment-free zone.
No judgments. Today we are just the two of us, no special guest, and we're covering.
Back to basics.
But we'll be covering a specific dining guest today from a group of people called the Toraja. Would you want to guess what makes these dining guests special?
Are they ghosts?
Close.
Oh.
They're close to ghosts because they're dead.
It's like that part in the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland where you go to the living room. No, not living room, the dining room. Do you remember that part?
No,
Have you
I don't
been-
think I've
have
been.
you
No, I
been-
haven't been to the Haunted Mansion.
Are you serious? Oh, wow.
I've been
That's
to
a
one
good-
Disneyland. I don't know which one. I think the one in California?
That's Disneyland. The one in Florida is Disney World.
Right,
But I don't know if they also have a Haunted Mansion there.
right.
But
Either way, I have not been to the Haunted Mansion.
Haunted Mansion. Okay, well, spoiler alert. There's a part where your little buggy ride turns in I guess it's like a dinner party scene.
Right.
So they have all these Victorian ghosts flying around this giant banquet table. It's really cool.
Oh, wow.
It's really cool.
Huh.
Blew my mind when I was 8, and then I cried for like an hour afterwards because
So-
I thought ghosts were real.
So is the Haunted Mansion scary or
Oh no, it's pretty like
Disney kind of
kitschy.
scary?
It's like Disney kitschy. But
I see.
if you're like 7 or 8, you just think ghosts are scary,
Right. Fair
even
enough.
if they're goofy.
I see. Yeah, so I guess it's something like that. To the Toraja, they would continue to have their dead relatives in their home, even inviting them to dine. And today we're gonna dig deeper and learn about why that happens.
Now, are you talking about like their bodies?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. What I mean by having a specific special dining guest, I mean they literally have their dead relatives
Like
at
not
home
just in spirit
to dine
but
with. It's not ghosts. No.
It's like Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
I need to
Yes.
stop making comparisons to like
It helps
Disney-
visualize
Disney.
it.
It's
Who
just
knows?
grandpa
Maybe Weekend at
propped
Bernie's
up.
was inspired by this
I don't even
practice.
remember seeing the full movie. I just in my memory it's like a dead guy that they're carrying around.
Yeah, I have never watched the movie.
Now that I think about it, I don't know if I have either. I just know about it in concept.
You just use a reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, but before we get ahead with all of that, let's start with what's in our palate. What's
Do I have a story for you?
Oh boy.
I had Indian food today.
Ooh, nice.
And I've never been to this place, but it's like there's no dine-in right now, so it's like you go there and you take it to go. I was ordering at the counter, and I don't eat rice, and I'm not a fan of bread, so I told the lady, "Can you hold the rice? I don't want any." The look that she gave me was like a mixture of shock and hatred. She was so offended that I didn't want rice. And then she's just like, "You want bread in a separate bag?" I'm like, "No." And then I think she had an internal like crisis. Like, she didn't know what to do, and she couldn't be nice to me anymore after that. She was just like, "Oh,
Openly
fine."
judging you.
Yeah, it was like so openly judgy. I'm like, okay.
Mad props to that server then.
Oh man, I felt real judged, but
Oh.
you know what? I prefer my curry without any watering down.
Sure, I guess you could call it that. Most people will just call it added sustenance or a necessity.
I feel like it like dulls the flavor for me because rice inherently doesn't really taste like anything. Neither does bread. So you're just adding more weight. You're just adding matter.
I'm refraining myself from just walking off. And
Oh, that's a similar look that she gave. Except she wasn't even trying to smile.
I'm
She
just
was just there was
just
no
some
smiling.
some points of the show I truly question why we're doing this show together.
Hey, listen.
First the rice, next the
Usually-
steak. What
okay.
next?
Here's the thing. If you
Pineapples on
go-
pizza?
Yes.
Ah, it's the trifecta.
Okay, don't you think that it's advantageous to eat with me because then you get all the extra rice and all the extra bread that I'm not gonna be eating?
Angel, it doesn't work that way.
Of course it does. What do you mean
It's
it
not
doesn't?
just about having unlimited rice to eat. It's about the balance of food.
It's pretty damn balanced to me.
Food
Not
is
having
balanced with rice.
that. No, it's not.
That's how you achieve world peace.
Pretty sure that's not how it goes.
You know how many problems in the world would be solved if people just knew how to balance rice with their meat and food?
I don't care.
That's fine. That's fine. I won't invite your dead body to my dining table.
That's fine. I have like my spirit will be at Disneyland.
Fine. I won't share.
Fine.
I won't share what I've been eating because I've been doing a lot of barbecue.
Oh, see, that's not fair. That's a lot of meat.
Yeah,
Where's
that's right.
Did you put it on rice?
I did. I
Oh,
made
damn.
some ribs the other day, inspired by like a recipe I found from Tennessee. So it was like a dry rib with nice, really sweet barbecue sauce.
Sounds
Then we
great.
also grilled some Filipino meats, which is just meat flavored in the
Meat
Filipino
everything.
style.
Just
It's not a
meat.
Filipino that I cooked.
You're not eating your relatives.
No, you don't eat your dead relatives, but you invite them. But anyway, before we go ahead with finding out about the having relatives that you dine with, we want to figure more first exactly where exactly are the Torajan people located. They're
Yes, because I've never heard of them.
Yeah. Well, before this episode, neither have I. But apparently, they are a group of people indigenous to the country of Indonesia, specifically the south side of the Sulawesi Island. Sulawesi.
Indonesia has a bunch of islands.
It is, yeah. It's archipelago as well. Sulawesi, though, is one of the largest islands. It's the 11th largest island in the world and one of the largest in Indonesia. I think it's the largest in Indonesia. And it's located in the horizontal middle of Indonesia, just almost directly south of the Philippines, actually. The word itself, Sulawesi, translates to the Iron Islands, Sula being island, Besi meaning iron. So, this is the
there a
Game
lot
of
of
Thrones version
iron
of the
there?
Iron Islands. Yep, yeah. That's exactly, I think why it was called the Iron Islands, yeah. You got a lot of iron from Sulawesi.
Nice.
The geography itself is full of mountains, cliffs, and valleys. The region is tropical as it is close to the Philippines, and Indonesia is a tropical country with high temperatures and heavy rainfall, which is, again, similar to the Philippines, too.
Nice.
The land itself, though, is rather unfertile. The big reason for this is the island itself is full of woods and wasteland, so it makes it hard to grow anything because you don't have a lot of fields. Right? So we mentioned there's a lot of mountains and cliffs and valleys, so you don't have large expanses of fields.
It's good for rolling down the hill in joy.
Yes,
but not for growing things.
Yes, that is the exact analogy. I don't have food, but I could roll. If I spin my stomach enough, it will never feel like it needs food.
Just gravity, take the wheel. Let's go.
Which is also Jesus there is known as gravity.
Take the wheel.
Who are the Torajans though? The Torajans themselves didn't really have much contact with the outside world until they were invaded by the Dutch in 1906.
Dutch, of course.
The Dutch, yeah. Which is interesting that the Dutch got to Indonesia, but they never got to the Philippines from what I think they did, but maybe they were too late. Or maybe they just gave up after Indonesia. Yeah, it's as far as we go.
That's it.
Let's go back to the Neanderthal lands.
No, we're just going to roll down these hills forever.
They had too much fun.
We found paradise.
This is in fact though much later than the colonialization of the rest of Indonesia, which actually happened in the 1700s. So that took them about 200 years to continue on into Sulawesi, and another 200 years, I guess, to meet the Torajan people. Today, the Torajan people count for about 1 million people now, with less than half of them continuing to live in Tanah Toraja, which is the land of Toraja in Sulawesi, in the Sulawesi Island. The name Toraja itself translates to the people of the highlands in Bungi, which is a language from Sulawesi. That name, people of the highlands, likely came from the topography of the island, like we mentioned, are quite mountainous. So highlands, mountainous. They unfortunately didn't get called the rolling people. I guess to your disappointment.
Maybe we can have a mashup and have them do some cheese rolling.
Yeah, I guess if the British invaded.
Yeah, instead of the Dutch. Even though Dutch people have a lot of cheese too.
Yeah. But they don't have a cheese rolling festival.
No. The only legit way to oh no, I just remembered I have a lot of cheese in the fridge that I need to eat.
Good. That sounds like a good problem to have.
It's just sometimes it's a lot of cheese. And to store it, I had to like separate it into 4 different containers because I didn't have Tupperware big enough to just put that block in.
On the next episode of Smörgåsbord, Angel records from her bathroom.
Just crying. Anyway, continue.
Although they are a group of people, the language that they speak could vary depending on where they are in the island. So there's actually the Torajan people speak different varieties of dialects. This is likely because the people themselves are a verbal-based culture, so writing hasn't been passed on until very recently. So the language varies because there's not a lot of movement between different groups. Or like maybe different groups didn't interact with each other, therefore their languages would vary slightly. The Torajan people tend to live in small villages by dirt roads. Makes each village district are also known as a tongkonan, which are ancestral homes or clan homes of sorts. It's kind of hard to really explain the tongkonan. There's a big culture, big part of the Torajan life seems to revolve around it, but the simplest way I could think of describing them would be kind of calling them like an ancestral or clan home. These buildings are...
Guild hall.
Yeah, kind of like a guild hall, I guess.
That'd be so cool.
So these buildings are raised on stilts and have saddleback roofs, which is just kind of a roof that's triangular.
Oh, cool. Stilty.
Yeah. They're often ornate carvings that you see in these homes, and apparently they keep the placenta of the members of the clan in these homes.
Okay,
So they're not really like
cool.
places to live in. They're kind of a place of gathering of sorts.
Right, like a community center type.
Yeah.
Banquet
So you use it
center.
kind of, yeah, because you use it for meetings between the families or the people who are part of the tongkonan, or you have weddings there or ceremonies. Sometimes you'll even have government meetings there. So it's not really, like I said, a place for you to live in. But
Okay.
I'm sure some people live there. There are also a lot more about
Toothless Joe. Good old Toothless Joe. We just can't get rid of him.
He's just hiding in the corner. We used to have
Joe.
placenta in this place till
Toothless Joe.
Toothless Joe came along, and he's toothless for a reason. In terms of the social aspects and the family membership and the connections and how you get involved in this, we're not going to go too far into it because it's. I tried understanding it, and I just got so lost. But yeah, I think thinking of it as an ancestral home or clan home is probably the simplest way.
That works for me.
Hi there, my name is Kanyeki Kamawe, and I'm the host of the Represented podcast. No matter who you are and no matter where you come from, we each have a story to tell. The Represented podcast explores individuals' life stories with the hope that we can identify with or learn from them. Subscribe and listen to the show on YouTube, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or even Spotify. You can also check us out on the Geek Happy Network website. That's geekhappynetwork.com. Finally, follow the show on Instagram at Represented Podcast to keep up with the fun stuff. Love to see you there. Peace.
The Torajan people also believe in a class system. There are 4 different ranks in this class system. The Tanah Bulaan, or the Golden Stake, which is the aristocracy. The Tanah Basi, or the Iron Stick, which are the noble people. The Tanah Karugong, or the Sugar Plum Stick, or the commoners. I want to be part of that.
Sugar plums? Sugar plums? That's so cute.
And the Tanah Kua, or the Reed Stick, which they would include the people who did consider slaves, I guess. While marrying between ranks used to be taboo, today though it seems to be more lenient, so moving up and down does happen within these ranks. You could also climb through money, really, at the end of the day.
Of course.
Sure, money and good looks have a lot to do with that.
Oh, yeah. That's how you become a YouTuber.
When it comes to the food for the Torajan people, well, Indonesian cuisine, probably to your dismay, is heavily revolved around rice.
No. No.
I don't accept that.
I don't like this story.
Known as the Spice Islands, it's no surprise as well that Indonesian food can be heavily flavored with spice. Peanuts also seem to be a common ingredient in Indonesian cuisine. Similar to the Philippine cuisine, Indonesian food is influenced by the islands and the colonizers that have lived and spent time in close to Indonesia. So you'll find element of Chinese cuisine, Spanish cuisine, and Dutch cuisine in Indonesian cuisine.
Nice.
Some popular Indonesian dishes would be nasi goreng, which is literally translated to fried rice. This fried rice would usually include meat, egg, sweetened soy sauce, and spices like tamarind and chili. It seems to be influenced by Chinese cuisine, and as we mentioned, you could see this in Malaysian cuisine as well. The national dish of Indonesia seems to be nasi campur, which is again a rice dish. It's rice mixed with different dishes, so like chicken satay, grilled beef, grilled chicken, beef rendang. So it's kind of just rice with something.
Rice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is similar to how I guess the Philippines sees rice, where you have rice and your ulam, which is whatever food you eat your rice with.
I really like the oolong, but not the other part. I like that rice is thought of as the main thing.
Oh yeah.
Instead of the other way around.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you like rice so much.
I guess in some ways the way we see it is we eat rice with something. You don't eat something with rice.
With rice. See, that changes the dynamic a lot.
Yeah. Because rice is the necessary part, not the ulam.
Agree to disagree.
Disagree to agree.
Disagree. Yeah, I've never thought of a meal combo like that. I've always thought like rice is the extra optional part.
Heck no. Another popular Indonesian dish is chicken satay, which is grilled chicken in a peanut-based sauce. Yeah, that one's good.
You know, it's funny. I actually hate peanuts on their own, but when it's
Really?
in sauce form, I'm like, ooh,
Oh.
love it.
What
Yeah.
what about peanuts on its own makes it so not
I
good?
don't know. I don't think the flavor is anything that great. And like nut wise, I prefer cashews or almonds
Yeah, I could
or
agree with that.
pecan/pecan. I don't know how you say it properly.
Well, do you say toucan or toucan?
Toucan. 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 I don't know.
Yeah,
But you know the nut I'm talking about.
I know.
You know
I
the
know. I
nut.
know those nuts.
You know.
When it comes to Torajan food, their food is rather simple, nothing complex, like the greater Indonesian cuisine. As Indonesia does have a lot of islands, the food also varies from region to region. So some food that you could get from the Torajan food is papiong, which is a cooking style using a bamboo stick over fire. So it's essentially using bamboo sticks as a pan that you cook over fire. You cook anything in there from rice to meats. Another cooking style for the Torajan people are pamarasan, which is a style of cooking meat with Torajan black spices. Now,
Nice.
while these are the cooking styles, some common dishes that you could find with the Torajan people are patong, which is a dish with usually using dog meat and cooked with dried galangal, which is a plant similar
Actual
to ginger
dog?
and other spices. Yes, actual
Oh.
dog.
Actual dog. Okay.
Yeah, I'm assuming that because they don't have a lot of fields, it's a little bit harder to grow other bigger animals like cows and stuff.
Mm.
Dangkot is a duck or a chicken dish spiced with galangal as well, which, as we mentioned, was a plant similar to ginger.
Mm.
Pokon
Ginger.
is a snack that they usually serve during celebrations. It's a rice flavored with coconut milk and then wrapped in bamboo leaves and boiled.
I might try that.
Yeah, if you ever come to the Philippines, I'm sure we'll be able to change your mind about rice.
Well, the hard thing is
But
it's
you might
the
just
texture.
be forced into it.
It's the texture, not really the. It's hard
But
to
see, there are
change rice
different kinds of
texture.
rice, like you could.
Yeah, I don't
you
like
might
any of it.
You might like the tong, which is like the burnt rice.
Oh, you're right. I do like things burnt and crispy.
Haha.
Ah,
I'll make Daryl proud
we'll see.
one
We'll see
day.
it. One day.
Kririk is similar to pokon, but use palm leaves instead of bamboo leaves. So it's again rice flavored with coconut milk and then boiled on palm leaves instead of bamboo leaves. Babi kekap is pork cooked in a sweet and sour or a spicy and sweet soy sauce. Balo is palm wine to drink for alcoholics, and for non-alcoholics there is
For
terong
alcoholics.
belanda, which is a drink made from red eggplant, which is something I have never seen before.
Red eggplant instead of purple.
Yeah.
Weird.
One thing
Alright.
also known from the Torajan region is its Arabica coffee. So it's actually one of the major exporters of Arabica coffee.
Nice.
Yep.
I do like me some coffee.
Yeah.
And you know.
I came here for the
Vanilla.
coffee. I came home with all the rice.
More like the other way around. Came here for all the coffee and I left with all the coffee.
Speaking of things that you leave everything or take everything from, one main things that were brought on by the Dutch is religion, which is now actually majority of the Torajan people are Christian thanks to the Dutch people. And a very small
Influencers.
percentage is Muslim. So it's about 90% Christian and a small percent of the remaining 10% are Muslim, which is a contrast from Indonesia, who is mostly Muslim. Before all this, the religion of the Toraja was Alukto Dolo, which is the way of the ancestors. This religious practice itself is believed to be pretty much gone now, as it was just only orally passed, so there's not a lot of writing, so it's really hard to actually figure out what the Alukto Dolo life was when it comes to its religion, because there's not a lot of people practicing it. Most of it is passed orally, and therefore it's hard to find.
It gets lost
Yes.
in the telephone.
But the beliefs of the Alukto Dolo continue to live on in the Torajan life today, as it was adapted into their Christian faith. So you'll see, like little bits of remnants of it. The old religion itself is an animist religion, meaning they believe in the existence of a spiritual world and that humans, animals, and even inanimate objects may possess a spirit, which is similar to Jainism.
Oh, yay.
The religion follows some core principles such as ritual requirements, rules, and prohibitions on how to live and act. Unlike Jainism, it's a polytheistic religion, so that means they believe in gods, not just one, but multiple.
Multiple.
Who form the sun, the moon, and the stars, and together they create life.
I was gonna say Captain Planet.
Those are the elements.
Oh, right.
Similar to Jainism as well, they believe that the cardinal directions each have different symbolisms. To the Torajan people, the east means life, west brings death and the land of the dead, or the Puya. North is connected with the upper world of the gods, and south being the underworld. They believe here that the difference between humans and animals are the humans' ability to sacrifice. They also believe in the connectivity of life that can pass between ancestors and their lineage, that one carries their blessings and burdens of one's ancestors. This also probably explains their class system and why when you were born back then, you were born into the class, right? This is also probably why it's called the way of the ancestors, because as their core belief is about life being passed between ancestors, it kind of makes sense that their religion is called the way of the ancestors.
Kind of has to do with ancestors. Oh, does it have to do with ancestors?
Yeah. I mean, they believe that the lineage passes through the ancestors. So
Hence it's named so.
Yeah. So they believe that the original humans were heavenly creatures that came down to earth by some holy staircase of sorts.
Ooh,
And
you think
from
it's
here,
rainbow?
maybe. I
That'd be
didn't
pretty
see
cool.
anything about it being suggested that it's the rainbow, but who knows?
In my head, it's rainbow.
Yeah. And these original humans just kept giving birth and had different lineages from there. When it comes to the practice of aluk todolo today, one practice does continue to remain, and that's related to how they handle their dead. As such, they don't really fear death, but see it as a part of life. So it's a very interesting way to see death that way. That when one dies, they actually don't think they're dead right away.
They're just kind of there.
They're just kind of there. They're kind of sick, I think is the word they tend to use, is that they're still sick. Such a belief in death means that it affects also how they handle then the people who are sick, right? So then usually when people are sick, they usually allow the sick people to just take course through the sickness rather than trying to keep people alive. So I guess compared to here where we're obsessed about making sure people don't die and blah, 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 blah. When it comes to the Torajan people, they sure try to cure sicknesses, but they don't dwell on it too much or obsess over it too much. Like, if they die, then they're still,
But they're still
kind
there.
of alive. Yeah. So yeah, they still try to, of course, save them from the sicknesses because it's still painful.
Yeah.
Not as obsessed as we probably are here in North America. So like we said, because they see the dead as really more sick, they then only see people as actually dead if they receive a proper burial. So once you're properly buried, then they believe that you've actually finally died and have moved on. So because of this, there's a
Okay.
lot of care then put towards the dead family members.
Ah.
Even
Now it's starting to make sense.
Right. Because they don't actually see them as dead, they tend to see them as sick. Even after their burial, though, they believe that the spirit of a person remains close by, which they call the bombo. The bombo will roam around the world until their relatives perform proper rituals that allow them to enter the puya, which is the other world. From then, if they have entered the puya, are they judged by the ruler of the puya, Pong Lalondong. Paul Lalondong. And if they fail the judgment of Pon Lalondong, they are said to roam the earth, which is not good because they believe this is the reason why there are haunted ghosts and spirits that haunt people.
Like zombies?
No, this time they're actually spirits.
Oh, okay.
So the
Getting
bombos are
confused.
so the dead body would be the person and then the spirit is the bombo.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So there's cats are believed to be able to see these bombos who roam around. And if they are allowed in the puya, they're also allowed to leave and visit the physical world once in a while. So the cats could be able to see either the bad bombos or the good bombos. From the puya, they're also able to ascend to the upper world, which seems to be only reserved for the higher classes.
There's a hierarchy in the afterlife as well.
Yeah. So one way to ensure that the bombo passes to the puya is to ensure that their earthly body is taken well care of. Well taken care of. So for them, it is about taking care of the body. It should go without saying that they don't cremate the bodies here. You'll see that a lot of the dead relatives would be preserved with formaldehyde and be kept really well, even
Pickled.
dressed well. But
Pickled uncle.
yeah. And talking about all those dead guests and how they are involved in the family's life and the rituals that we'll get into properly burying them is what we're going to cover in the next part of
Oh yeah.
the
Now we
Torajan
get to
people.
the fun part.
Yeah. So tune in next time for part 2 of Dead Guests for Dinner.
Yeah.
And there will be more
This
rice. Sorry.
This isn't no. You say happy. You like how I'm so happy about dead people, but like not rice.
Well, we'll have
This is how I
at
live
least
my life.
at least we could have you excited for one of the parts of the part 2.
Part 2.
Part 2. Bye.
This is Smörgåsbord.
Have a ritual, myth, or something strange you want us to explore? Send us a message through Facebook at Geek Happy Network or email us at team@geekhappynetwork.com. We'd love to hear from our fellow Smorgies. This show was created by Angel Lynn and Mick Narciso, hosted by Angel Lynn and Mick Narciso, edited by Mick Narciso and Bianca Goico, logo and graphics by Angel Lynn, music by Mick Narciso, and videography by Bianca Goico.